Pace car dives to the pit lane. The drivers come to the restart zone to get this race underway. Kurt Busch is your leader. Jimmy Johnson starting on the outside pole. These two, both in the front row, have had very good seasons to start off the year, but Kurt Busch is the only one that has gotten to victory lane, so we'll have to wait and see if he's able to do it again here in COTA, or if Jimmy Johnson tries and plays spoiler. You see already in the background, there's a lot of guys. Oh, Dave Blaney, full sent into that corner right there, and he's going to get himself turned from Jeremy Mayfield, and somehow, no, he gets hit by Casey Atwood. There goes Dale Jr. spinning, and that somehow they all pretty much escape away from it. I don't know if Dale Jr. got any contact. The sevens certainly did. So did Dave Blaney, because he full sent into the corner being super aggressive, but somehow, Gary, they all get away with it. They all drive away from the scene. Oh, I might have just seen the 17 turning somebody up here. I did. There goes the 17 and the 4 off track. But again, Matt Kenseth, Mike Skinner both just make tiny contact with each other, tiny contact with the wall, and they move on. You know, as we've obviously seen right here, these initial starts and the restarts can be the most chaotic parts of this race, and they just were right there, Gary. But so far, everybody who just got involved in an accident was able to get away and escape with it.
Dave Blaney trying to be a hero on lap 1, turn 1, paid the price for it, thereby wrecking himself.
Oh, so is the 40.
About to be 4 wide here now, and I mean, that's the first trouble point.
I'm surprised with the way this race started. I'm surprised. Well, we still do see some contact, and there goes the 55 of Bobby Hamilton spinning. The 26 got hit. Oh, he almost goes up and over, getting hit by Kyle Petty. Gary, this entire first lap has been full of chaos.
Absolutely.
And
they're still going.
Yeah, and everybody somehow, again, escapes away. We got a couple replays to go and grab once we make it through at least this first lap. Oh, there's a caution, actually. I was just about to mention that the cautions are going to be kind of hard to call here in COTA, but there is one. The caution is out after lap number 1, so there we go. I did not think we would see the game call a single one. Through all my testing, I saw pileups happen and no caution get called, but this time, the caution does get called, so that gives us a moment to make sure, number 1, everybody slows down here without getting stacked up and in a crash, but number 2, to go and check some replays. So Dave Blaney up the hill to turn 1, you're going to see him try and play heroics and just take a lot of cars 3 wide, sometimes even 4 wide, just full send it into the corner. He makes it work at first, and then the 19 of Jeremy Mayfield says, nuh-uh, no sir, turns him around, and he makes it for the most part until the 7 of Casey Atwood comes in, hits him, and then right in the front, you see Dale Jr. get tagged, I think, by Steve Park. He goes spinning, but luckily, the only person who got some really big damage out of that was that 7 car of Casey Atwood. Just a few moments later, going through the S's, you see Matt Kenseth make a little bit of contact with Elliott Sadler, goes sliding, and then hits Mike Skinner. They both go sliding off the track, and Mike Skinner touches the barrier just a tiny bit, and both of them drive away with very minimal damage. More chaos continues on the first lap. First heavy braking zone, and Jeremy Mayfield just full sends it into the corner and hits the back of Jeff Gordon, so that's where he got his rear end damage from, and then further on down the straightaway is where the calamity continues. Another heavy braking zone causing some issues here. You see Bobby Hamilton go 3 wide and just gets tagged by the 26, who gets tagged by the 1. He goes spinning in the middle of the track and gets hit by Dave Blaney, and then he gets tagged again by Kyle Petty and almost sends himself up and over, and that is why we under caution for the first time today here in COTA. Kurt Busch going to lead us back under green, starting lap number 4 after that caution. We had 3 retirees after all that took place, with the 7 of Casey Atwood, the 29 of Kevin Harvick, and the 31 of Robbie Gordon are all out of this race. But in the background, there are going to be a bunch of cars with some heavy damage. You see a couple of them back there without front ends. That could potentially lead to some issues as this race goes longer, but it is going to be a while until our leaders catch those cars because this track is so long. But Gary, Kurt Busch already escaping with this lead once again. He has Jimmy Johnson right behind him, and then the chaos taking place back here. You got side by side for several rows, and then once again back here, even though it was single file this time on the restart, I mean, we have no shortage of cars making passes. Oh, Jeff Gordon has no rear bumper, but we have no shortage of cars making passes and cars sending it on really aggressive moves, not wasting any time at all, because I know the restarts are going to be the easiest time to make passes here at COTA.
But I mean, speaking of drilling, where is that number 6 of Mark Martin here now as we look for him in that Viagra Ford Mustang? But Jay, I mean, every week we talk about peaking at the right time. He's peaked at the wrong time every week so far. The question is, can he peak at the right time today? Right now, inside the top 5, but this is kind of usually the time we see him running good, and he's going hard early.
Race number 6 of the season, and we're still going to see, I said it last week, I'll say it again probably every other week of the season, we're going to see Gary make all those Viagra references every single week, but we're 6 weeks in, and, you know, we've already seen Gary recycle a couple of those jokes a couple of times, so is he going to be able to find 36 original ones, or is he going to be able to copy, or is he going to have to copy them every single week? That's going to be the thing. I think the biggest question of the season, Gary, is not who's going to win the championship, but are you going to be able to come up with 36 different Viagra jokes?
I'll have a big finale set for Phoenix, so don't you worry about that.
Kurt Busch crosses the line to win stage number 1. That is yet again another stage win for Kurt Busch on the season. Jimmy Johnson in second. Gonna try and make some adjustments. I think all these guys gonna try and make some adjustments to have a little bit stronger of a car here for Kurt Busch, because he drove away by close to 3 seconds in those first 10 laps of this race, and I think he's gonna want to do that again here, Gary, in stage number 2. Kurt Busch still leading the way, and this time there's a little bit of a shakeup as we look back into the bottom side of the top 10. You had a lot of drivers that were in this part of the top 10 pit, and a lot stay out. So what it has done is given some of our top 10 runners from stage number 1, it's handed them bad track position and put them further down in the order. But what it's also done is it's handed a bunch of cars with damage some better track position, and it could potentially cause a little bit of chaos, as the restarts are already going to be the most chaotic parts of this race anyways. But it could throw a little bit more in there with all these damage guys being in front of some of our better runners in this race as we look to go and find them. You see Del Jarrett actually he finished top 10. He finished 10th in stage number 1. Oh, I just saw Jeff Burton.
I see smoke out of his car off.
There's the Ricky Craven, Terry Labonte go off the track. We just mentioned that the restarts are going to be
some adrenaline. Pay attention to the rest of this field coming through. Contact right there. Looks like they're going to be okay. A little bit of close quarters racing, but actually, I mean, so far so good here. Great album, by the way, now, as they were about 3 wide briefly there into the right-hander. Now you can see some other cars off the pace. Labonte goes wide. He had his fair share of issues there. Tony Stewart as well, trying to make a move, and look at them all going wide up there. They're just abusing all the track limits here, but it is NASCAR. You can abuse the track limits to the fullest extent.
As Michael Waltrip and Terry Labonte wind up side by side, and Michael Waltrip tags and turns Terry Labonte, spins him around. He doesn't go hitting anything, but in here in the corner of your screen, you're going to see Ricky Craven just hop over those big yellow curbs and go spinning himself. He doesn't luckily hit anything either.
Mark Martin in 3rd place in that Viagra machine. I mean, right now, trying to run down that big old Johnson in front of him, as Ryan Newman is just in behind that number 6 machine here. But I mean, you see as well, Mike Skinner, shout out to Mike Skinner, Jay, in that number 30 machine, having an
that is Jeff Green.
Exceptional. Jeff Green having an absolutely exceptional run in that number 30 car.
Yeah, he is. He's having a fantastic run. This booth is becoming a comedy show in the last 30 seconds or so. Goodness gracious, I don't even know what in the world is happening over here anymore. Back from COTA for the start of stage number 3, and we had the game crash. So we're restarting with the 14 laps that we're going to be in stage number 3, and everybody who was DNF gets to get back in the race. Everybody who had a damaged car gets to have their car fixed now. And what is the biggest gift I see already, Gary, is to Jeff Gordon, who was mired way back down outside the top 20, and he gets to restart this final stage, or start this final stage now in 4th place. But we already have some contact between Rusty Wallace and Kurt Busch, and this might be our first lead change in this race, because for a moment Rusty Wallace looked like he was going to be able to clear Kurt Busch, but Kurt fights back, and they're still going side by side through the S's, Gary. This could be a really sketchy thing. Everybody's still side by side with this initial restart, and actually Rusty Wallace gets the lead complete, or gets the pass complete right there.
And in the background, we got Ricky Rudd, Bill Elliott, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, Mark Martin still in the Viagra, hardly chasing down that Johnson here, as he's got the 77 of Dave Blaney just behind. But it looks like everyone so far is getting through here clean on this unexpected double file restart late in this race now. But here we go, Jay. They're going to head down into this braking zone. They've been relatively decent into this braking zone when it comes to the restarts. I say that, and there we go. Problems, and Newman's going to get back going here. But this could be a bit
4 wide, and whoa.
It's about to get a double whammy.
Made a little bit of contact with Dell Jr., but we have a lot of cars going off the track right there. I just saw the 32 of Craven go up on, he only had 3 wheels on the ground, and he was able to survive and make it through it. I see the 55 back here, Bobby Hamilton. Well, just like last race, his front end is destroyed. He's probably going to have to come in and get it ripped off the car. We'll have to go back and grab a replay. First braking zone struck for Ryan Newman, who gets hit by Tony Stewart, and he just goes kind of sliding. He's able to not really get too much damage out of it, but he does have to deal with the 4 wide that happens right on him. He gets contact with Matt Kenseth and almost gets turned across the track, but he's able to make it work and continue down the straightaway into the next set of chaos. The heavy braking zone at turn 11 was the next set of chaos. You're going to see Matt Kenseth miss the corner. Ricky Craven tries to make the corner, but he gets tagged from behind and goes up on 3 wheels instead of 4 and gets a bit of damage out of it. But in the background, there's a big crash that happens. We'll have to grab another angle of. So looking a little bit further back this time to Casey Atwood, gets involved in a big stack up, gets hit from behind from Steve Parker, gets hit from Brett Bodine. He goes up. Both of them almost kind of almost go up and over. They both do go up in the air, and then Stacey Compton comes in to add insult to injury to Steve Park, and then Steve Park decides to then spin Joe Nemechek around. And now it's Rusty Wallace leading the way. And Gary, we just saw Kurt Busch go from being an absolute dominant car this race, and now Meyer down in third place because Ricky Rudd also got past him as well. And right now Kurt Busch is almost kind of holding up a line of traffic like we saw Jimmy Johnson doing earlier in the race.
So many cars got a second opportunity, especially the ones that retired from the race earlier here. As you see, I mean, one of those is Robbie Gordon in that number 31 machine now running in. Well, he's not running inside the top 10 anymore, as he is actually choked. I do apologize, Robbie Gordon, right now.
Commentator's curse at his finest right there.
Literally, the timing could not have been any better or worse, whichever way you look at it.
Jeff Burton trying to make a move on Terry Labonte, and he's going to be able to maybe complete the pass through turn one, has the advantage to the inside, but Terry Labonte gets the launch on the outside of the corner, and they're still going to be heading side by side into the S's, which, like I was mentioning last lap, is not a very comfortable feeling for any one of these drivers to be side by side through here, but Jeff Burton that time goes sailing into the corner, perhaps Terry Labonte letting him go a little bit, and that time the pass is complete for the 99 car.
But I don't think Martin's going to be close enough to be able to force the issue here, put the pressure on the back of the number 24, but is it going to make a move? No, he's not. It's going to stay put just in behind. But Jay, we've got to watch this run. Well, you know, I say that, there goes that, because he just completely blew the corner like a clown, and you can see peaking at the wrong time.
He was starting to set Jeff up really well right there, and then completely missed the braking zone right there and ran very wide into that corner and had to he lost all that ground that he had just gained on Jeff Gordon. Unfortunate for him because he was the dominant car in this race, but like you also said earlier in the race, perhaps a little bit of karma for him because Jeff Gordon looked like he had Phoenix sealed away. Kurt Busch looked like he had this race sealed away, but then Kurt Busch stole Phoenix. Now Kurt Busch is going to wind up losing this race. No challenge at all from behind from Ricky Rudd. Almost 8 seconds ahead that last time by. This time by might be 8 seconds. And through the final corner, Rusty Wallace is going to finally get his first win of the season. Did not choke this one away like we've seen him do multiple times already. He is a winner at COTA and is going to lock himself in the playoffs. In the background, we're going to look at Ricky Rudd off the final corner. He's going to wind up getting second place. And then Kurt Busch, who unfortunately is going to finish third place in this race, had the dominant car, but all he has to show for it is a third place finish. Bill Elliott gets fourth. And rounding out your top five is Jimmy Johnson, who made a late race pass on Jeff Gordon. That is going to do it from us here in COTA. I hope you guys enjoyed our 6th race of the season. But next week, we go from the road course in COTA to the short track in Richmond, Virginia. So I will see you guys next week for that. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. It'll help me out a ton. And I will see you guys next week for Richmond. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.